Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. It's your friendly neighborhood Armenian here with another video. We have a super chilly Sunday afternoon in Massachusetts right now. This is so far the coldest weekend that we have had. We're entering the teens basically for temperature. This should be a good opportunity to go for a quick cruise and talk about what it's been like owning and living with the GR Corolla since I have purchased the car. So let's get the car started, warmed up, and go for a drive. While everything is warming up, take this opportunity to talk about what we see right here. First of all, it's an estimated 28 degrees outside. It really isn't. Feels like I think it's like 19 or 20 maybe, but it feels like it's 10 with wind chill and everything. Almost 2,900 miles on the car. I have had this car for 9 months now. Not too many miles, but within those 2887 or 2,900 miles, this car has been driven through all kinds of conditions: rain, back roads, driven hard at times, driven eco-friendly at times, trying to be fuel efficient, commuter car, weekend car. It's pretty much done all of it, and definitely driven through snow, especially as of late. If you haven't seen my most recent video, I'll put a card up here. I drove this car through the big snowstorm that we had a couple weeks ago. This thing did phenomenal, but we'll get more into that when we're driving the car. Don't be fooled by the 2,900 miles over there. This car does get driven. I'm sure you all can hear that glorious turbo intake spooling whooshing sound coming from the car. This car does have the MSD Performance cold air intake system on it. Probably a couple months now. I've put maybe 800 miles or something like that with the intake on. For those that are curious, no check engine lights yet, and I have driven the car hard with the intake at times, and the car does not have an aftermarket tune right now as well, so all that stuff is stock for now. On here, sun is out and it is bright, even though it is frigid out. On that topic of it being frigid out, the conveniences of this car right now, which cold weather package, comes standard on the Circuit Edition, and it has heated steering wheel, and this thing has come in clutch many times. I love using this thing. It warms up super fast. It's in the perfect location on the steering wheel, 9 and 3. It's excellent. Yeah, see, I can already feel it's nice and toasty. Because even though the steering wheel is leather wrapped, When it's really cold out and the car's been sitting outside for quite a long period of time, this can get really cold if you don't want to wear gloves. It can be a little annoying until everything warms up, or uncomfortable, I should say. This car sounds great. Let's go ahead. We are currently in normal mode, so we can go ahead. Let's go down a gear. Let's hear that turbo spooling. I love the sounds this car makes. I still can't get over it. Almost every video I've made since I've installed the intake and exhaust as well, I just comment on the sounds and I giggle, and that hasn't changed. It really hasn't. I love it. I love being so interactive with this car. I do have the frequency intelligent catback exhaust on the car, and the valves currently are closed. Usually when I'm driving with the windows up, I tend to leave the valve closed, because once I do open it, it gets pretty boomy in here. Things do start to rattle a bit. Nothing against the exhaust, it's just how this engine is and how sound basically bounces around in the cabin. This car has been a blast to own, okay? I absolutely adore this car. Owning this car, living with this car, driving this car is very, very easy. It's very user-friendly. It's very convenient. I've just loved owning this car over those 9 months, and I will say, over the 9 months that I've owned the car, as time goes by, I'm realizing that I'm falling more and more in love with the car. I love this car now more than I did before I ordered the car, and I had that excitement when I pre-ordered the car, and even more than the first day picking up the car. Appreciating it more and more as time goes by, because I do use this car. Like I said earlier, don't be fooled by the 2,900 miles. I do drive it, and I do enjoy driving it. The handling of this car is excellent. The transmission is wonderful. The power delivery is great. The engagement is excellent. The all-wheel drive is amazing. When I drove this car in the snowstorm recently, I have the Continental Viking Contacts. They're dedicated snow winter tires. This car is a beast. The all-wheel drive is wonderful. I like to compare how good an all-wheel drive system is to Subarus. I say that because I'm experienced with Subarus. I don't typically have too much experience in like Jeeps or trucks or all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive SUVs. So what I like to compare to is Subaru, and I know Subarus have never let me down when it comes to terrible weather and their all-wheel drive. They've just been phenomenal. Even in all-season tires, they've been great. So the all-wheel drive in the GR Corolla is amazing. It didn't skip a beat. You don't even have to turn traction control off. The car does its thing. You know, of course, if you want to hoon in the snow, turn traction control off, which I did in my video. I did a few snow donuts here and there in an empty, safe parking lot. But the car feels like it's on rails, even in the snow, with the proper tires. I didn't feel at any point in time that I was losing grip, that I was gonna slide and fall off the road or fall off the side of the road. I didn't feel nervous one bit. It was very, very easy and comfortable to drive. I didn't have to pin the throttle or anything like that. I mean, this car just did phenomenal in the snow. Another thing that is great about this car as well, so living with it, The height clearance of this car, this is supposed to be more of a rally bred based type of car, like the GR Yaris, but with 4 doors essentially. Ground clearance is pretty great in this car. I like to compare it to my wife's Mazda 3 turbo hatch. I will be making a video at some point about that car. I know I've had a few requests on that car. That car is low. I mean, pretty low for just a average daily commuter type of car. I can scrape the lip on that car or the underside of that car if I'm not being too careful. This car, don't have to worry about it. When I was driving through the snow, I didn't have to worry about height clearance. I could just kind of plow through whatever I needed to do, and there you go. And then the all-wheel drive kicks in as well, and you're good to go. I do appreciate about this car the convenience and the ease with ride height, all-wheel drive. The transmission is very easy to use. The clutch is really easy to use. It's not crazy heavy. If you are a first-time manual transmission driver, you're learning, not hard at all. It's really, really easy to use. Handling is great as well. I do love that the steering is very responsive. When you're in comfort or eco mode, it's a little lighter, looser. So if you're just kind of commuting, you know, you don't want to put too much effort and strength into handling the steering wheel and handling the car. It's very nice and light. If we go ahead and put everything in sport mode, however, it does tighten up significantly. You can definitely feel that the steering is sharper, more responsive. It's a little heavier in the weight. It feels good. It feels like a sports car. Power delivery of this car, I love it. So nothing crazy, right? We got 300 horsepower. I think that is great for an all-wheel drive kind of car in this class. You truly don't need anything crazy. I mean, in a world of what, 1,000 horsepower, everything's right, minivans even, probably use a little bit more, which at some point I'm definitely going to tune this car. I do have downpipes and discussions of tunes and whatnot in the works. Nothing crazy though. I feel like a good 50 more horsepower would do this car wonderful, and I personally don't think I would want anything more than that, because obviously I want something reliable. This car is already pushing a lot of boost, pushing plenty of power for a 3-cylinder turbo, right? Let's remember that it's a 3-cylinder turbo. Usually you don't have great fuel economy in turbo cars, especially when you have all these pieces together, right? You have manual transmission, all-wheel drive, turbo, right? You tend to lose a good amount of miles per gallon. And let's put it aside, yeah, you don't get a sports car or a fun car or a rally car for fuel economy. Let's put that aside, because I do want to talk about what it's like living with this car. And fuel efficiency is definitely something that if this is going to be your only car, right, or one of 2 cars, for example, it's definitely on your mind, right? Are you gonna be filling up every 150 miles, 200, 300, 400 miles, right? It depends how long of a commuter you are. I drive this car hard on the weekends, back roads. I definitely get into boost. I redline here and there a few times. And then I also probably barely see boost, if anything, during some drives, right? Because like not every time I'm going to be driving this car I am looking to just hoon around or go crazy, right? So far I've basically been getting about 300 miles to the tank with this car, and I feel like it could do better. I do. If I really wanted to hypermile this car, like if I were to top this car off and just be on the highway, I think this could easily do about 350 miles, maybe even more. I mean, I think 300 is great. It does way better than my wife's Mazda 3. I mean, that thing's turbo and all-wheel drive as well, and that thing barely, and I'm serious, I don't think I've seen it ever get to about 200 miles on a tank. This thing is awesome. I love this thing. It's so like livable, right? Pretty fuel efficient, sporty, plenty of power, handles great, awesome all-wheel drive. That the all-wheel drive is really great in this car. I will say it's awesome, especially if you're in an area, you live somewhere where you get snowstorms very frequently, or when it's super cold out, or even if you're on dirt roads, right? If you live in, you know, New Hampshire, Vermont, things like that, and you need something to it's got a little bit of clearance, and you can rely on the all-wheel drive to kind of get you through all different terrains. A couple other things to point out about how easy this car is to live with. Very much grocery getter in this car. The GR Corolla is a hatchback, hot hatch, and because of that, we get decent space in the hatch area to store whatever it is that you need and hike it along with you on whatever drives, whatever you need to do, all while being able to seat 5 people comfortably, fairly comfortably. I use this car to go grocery shopping all the time. Honestly, more than the Mazda 3. Just an excuse to drive the car. So I love driving this car. Storage space is also great in this car. Got a glove compartment right here. It's got it's standard glove compartment, but I mean, there's plenty of room there. We got cup holders galore, to be honest with you. We got 2 here, we got 2 in the back, and then when you bring the armrest down, there's cup holders there. We got cubbies down here by the doors, all around, front and rear. You have a little tray over here by where the armrest would have been. You have a space right underneath the center console here, which you have your heated seat functions and your wireless charger. That's where I put my phone. I mean, you got space there. If you're a CarPlay or Android Auto user, this car does have wireless Apple CarPlay. I believe it has wireless Android Auto as well. I've always had Apple phones, iPhones, so I can speak to the Apple CarPlay, and it is pretty flawless. I have not had any issues with the wireless CarPlay working with my phone. For those that are interested to hear what this car sounds like with the FI system. So I do have the valves closed, and I do connect via this app. I'll go ahead and turn the valves, open the valves, and let's go put everything in sport. And we will put the GR4 all-wheel drive system in, let's go 30-70, so 30 front, 70 torque split in the rear. Auto blip on. That's another thing. So while I'm in auto blip, or intelligent manual transmission, IMT is what Toyota calls it, that's an awesome function if you are a daily commuter. Like right there, no heel towing or anything like that. Just push the clutch in, downshift, and it does the rev matching for you. It's awesome. I do like it. This is also the first car I've had that has that function. God, I love the sounds. And funny enough, right before I started filming and got into the car, I was watching the Fast and the Furious on the TV too. I still love watching the original movie, but definitely inspired by the sounds. Visibility is wonderful in this car. Tons of glass everywhere. So one thing I do appreciate are these little cutouts right here, right by the side view mirrors, driver side and passenger side. That really helps with visibility. Like every little area where you can add some glass, it's very helpful for driving. That helps. Windshield, I mean, really easy to see through. I'll probably do a comparison with this car to the Mazda 3. Visibility is horrendous. I mean, it's god awful. It's so bad. And it takes a long time to get used to. And the rear quarter area on the rear passengers doors is just, you can't see anything. It's terrible. But with this car, it's super easy to see, never run into issues. I'm one of those people that I'm always looking around when I drive. I don't rely on mirrors. I don't rely on the blind spot monitoring system to tell me, you know, if there's a pedestrian, a cyclist, a car, or anything in the area. I'm in sport mode. Ride comfort is not bad. Seats themselves are comfortable. They hold you in. I mean, they're decently bolstered. They're no Recaros or anything like that, but they hold you in, the leather and the Alcantara inserts. If you're gonna go on long drives, I believe I've gone, I think like the longest I've done was about maybe 120, 130 miles on one drive. I mean, that's not crazy long. Obviously, I haven't put too many miles on the car, but I didn't feel like I needed to pull over and stretch or anything like that. It was totally fine. The suspension is fairly forgiving, and especially if you put it in, if we go ahead and put it in normal mode, not that there's no adaptive suspension on this car, it's just the steering kind of loosens up, but it's pretty comfortable for daily driving, for if you're gonna commute long miles basically every day and put a lot of miles on the car. It's reasonable. I don't really see you having any problems, especially if you have kids and things like that. You're definitely not going to run into any issues, I don't think, with space. There's plenty of headroom. And let's not forget, this is a Corolla. It's a Corolla hatch. It's not even a Camry or an Avalon or anything like that. It's a Corolla. It's the bottom level model. So it's going to be the smallest model that they have, and there's still plenty of room. That being said, about the seat position, I do have this in the lowest seat height. I mentioned this in one of my very early GR Corolla videos that I still think the seat is too high. I feel like I'm sitting on the car versus sitting in the car, if that makes sense. It's not a visibility issue, it's not a comfort issue. Like I'm not losing space, like headroom space when I say feel the seat's too high. I just, when I'm driving a sports car, right, or I want to feel sporty, I want to be a little lower so I feel like I'm a little bit more connected to the car. A couple other things to know living with this car. I know I mentioned in a couple other videos rattles here and there, so there is this rattle up here. Yes, I still have not addressed it. I definitely located it, so it's something in here that vibrates and rattles. The glove box definitely rattles a lot, and I've definitely noticed when it's colder out, the car tends to rattle a lot more. I have the Circuit Edition model. This isn't the Core with the cloth seats or anything like that. So we have leather basically everywhere, leather and Alcantara. You have soft touch leather here on the doors that feel great, nicely padded. Red stitching all over, steering wheel, the door, again, the seats. You have red stitching around here on the shift boot, on the manual handbrake, all over. And same with the rear seats, so they didn't skimp out on that. You have red stitching in the rear seats as well, and the Alcantara is nice to be in here. I have debates with many people online on the forums or just in general that the GR Corolla is just an god-awful interior for the money. Yeah, the Core at, you know, if you were to get it at $36,000 base with the cloth seats and no, like, really, I think it's white stitching. It doesn't feel premium in here. You know, the nicer leather shift knob, all the creature comforts, right, with the heated seats and the heated steering wheel and all that, and the wireless charging, and the seats really are the big thing. So, I mean, if you don't have that stuff, yeah, I can see it just looks kind of like a generic economy car. And don't get me wrong, this still technically is, but the Circuit Edition definitely spices things up a bit with the leather here and there, and the suede and whatnot. And I do know that for the 2024 model year, if you don't get the Circuit Edition, they have a new trim for the 2024 model year, and that's the Premium, and that's basically a fully loaded core with similar seats to the Circuit Edition, but with white stitching. The Premium is definitely nicer inside than the Core, so if you're considering that, 24 model year comes with parking sensors front and rear, so that's another convenience thing if you're gonna definitely daily the car. Also comes with the same BBS wheels that come on the 2023 Maurizio Edition. These cars definitely hold value, so if that's another concern of yours about, can I live with a car that, you know, I'm gonna use, I'm gonna beat on, or I'm gonna daily, and it's gonna lose its value over however many years you plan on owning this car, they'll just hold their value. I don't think these cars will lose value, really. They really just don't have the competition, right? Like, we don't have the STI anymore. The competitions you got are the grfour and the Subaru WRX, but I mean, this thing is rare. It's a Toyota, so it's definitely going to be a lot more reliable. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. I appreciate all the support. And if you are stopping by for the first time, hit that subscribe button. Got tons of GR Corolla content and automotive content in general on this channel. And feel free to leave a comment down below. I love interacting with everybody. I read every single comment, and I try to respond to everybody's comments as best I can. People want to see some more POV videos, and they want to hear about the Mazda 3 that we have as well, and those videos are coming, I promise you. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Till next time, peace.